Hello, thanks for joining me today with Stamping and Crafting with Loretta. Today is an art journal page layout. This is a brand new journal. I picked this journal up from my local big box store on sale. I prepped the pages using two different layers of gesso. I allow those to dry in between those layers, and then on top of that I'm just using some Artist Loft acrylic paint. This is actually a very thick body paint to create my base for the page. Next you're going to see me use my paint from the Master's Touch, and this is called Salty Ocean Green. And this particular color actually is a little bit more teal than it is blue once it was completely dry. I applied that with a paintbrush, and then once it was applied I used my damp baby wipe to soften up the edges. It just really turned out well. I did a lot of die cutting before I started this project. The sentiment, which is "In the meadow we can build a snowman," and I die cut the snowman, the moose, the Christmas trees, the mittens, and of course the snowflakes. The snowflakes and the page itself were actually misted down with some mixables mist called Sheer Shimmer, and this is from My Favorite Things stamps. And once I had that down, I did heat set that, and I really think that it gave it just that perfect amount of sparkle. I'm now going to randomly adhere those snowflakes to the background, and I also had misted those with the same shimmer mist so that they had a nice sparkle. As I continue here with my project, I'm going to cut out my snowman. Now I want to just make a little note here that the snowman you see in the first of the video is not the one that stayed on the page. The first one was cut out of felt from my collection, and then I used some black enamel paint to create his face. And as you may or may not notice during this video, that paint actually just completely saturated through that felt and just made a big globby mess. And the only way I could think to deal with it was, since it was still wet and it was felt, I was able to pretty much pull it up and replace it. So I was really thankful for that. Otherwise I was going to have to try to figure out how I was going to layer another snowman over the top and hide that, but I didn't. In the end I didn't have to do that. This font is one that is an alphabet set that I own. It's called Balloon. I'm not sure who actually makes the die. And I cut all the letters for my sentiment, which today reads, "In the meadow we can build a snowman." And with the current weather in a lot of places here in the country being snowy and cold, I just thought that this would be a really fun page to do, so I did it. The cardstock that I used to cut out these letters is also from My Favorite Things stamps, and it is very much a teal color. After I applied the glossy accents to the title, which I just put in place using regular Tombow Mono multi-glue, I applied some glossy accents, and then I sprinkled glitter over the top of that. Then I used those tree die cuts and a Copic marker to darken them up and give them a little bit more shading. And then those are also applied to my page. Just I did kind of rehearse where I wanted them to go, which you'll see here in just a second, and I just think that the entire layout of this project came out even better than I thought it would. That is put down today with that same Tombow Mono multi-glue, and I'm going to go back over those one more time with my Copic markers just to try to add a little bit more shading, which turned out it wasn't necessarily a waste of time, but the effect of the extra Copic coloring does not really show up in the finished project. This small moose is actually cut out of Shrinky Dink brand name plastic. I shrunk it down and then I covered it with glossy accents. Once it was dry, I used glossy accents on the back as well as a little dab of hot glue just to keep that in place while the glossy accents dried. So that was pretty quick and easy to do. These tiny little mittens are a die that is from Memory Box, and I die cut those from Shrinky Dink plastic, and I used some white enamel paint as well as some some green glitter glue there. To add more texture to the page, I used a paint pen. Here you actually see me replacing that snowman, and I'm going to use him in the project. As we continue on here, I had salvaged some of the pieces from the snowman, basically the hat, the scarf, and his arms, and I'm going to replace them up underneath the new snowman, which was die cut from regular cardstock, which I ran through an embossing folder. I don't think that really shows up very well in the video. It does on the page itself. You can see the snowflakes embossed into the body of the snowman. And this time I used the black enamel for his buttons. I used my black big brush marker, and then I covered those with some glossy accents just to give it some dimension. And I'm going to go back over the piece once more with that paint pen. I'm also using that same white paint to go over the bottom of the page so it has some texture and adds that snowy effect. And I just did that with my finger. I also randomly placed that onto the page so that it added more texture. I then used my Diamond Dust, which is an ultra fine glitter, to give it even more sparkle over the top of this. Of course, I did that while the piece was still wet. This entire 2-page art journal spread took me about 3.5 hours to complete, and I really do like the way that it came out. I will tell you this, that I cut out a lot of the footage that was redundant, like the heat setting and things of that nature, just because I didn't really think that it needed to be in there. And kind of, I guess it's a given that as you work in these kind of projects, that you either need to let them dry naturally or use your heat tool to get it done. Now, this little scarf that my snowman has on actually bled through a little bit, and to hide that I just used my paint pen and went back over the top of that. And I will admit that in the end that was actually a good idea. It gave it a little bit more texture and shine. And off camera I actually used my spray to give it some more shimmer. That once again is the Mixables Mist Sheer Shimmer Spray from My Favorite Things. So I hope that everybody has enjoyed this art journal project. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Thumbs up if you like my videos, and enjoy the still pictures that will follow. Stay happy and be a blessing. Always be kind to one another. Remember, life's too short not to be. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great day. Bye for now.